Hey there, Year 2. Miss Turner back. I hope you had a lovely Monday. And here is the latest instalment of Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. Chapter 9, Gobbled Up. On the day when this all was happening, no factories opened anywhere in the world. All offices and schools were closed. Bit like now. Nobody moved away from the television screens, not even for a couple of minutes to get a Coke or to feed the baby. The tension was unbearable. Everyone heard the American president's invitation to the men from Mars to visit him in the White House, and they heard the weird rhyming reply, which sounded rather threatening. They also heard a piercing scream, Grandma Josephine's, and a little later on they heard someone shouting, "Scram, scram, scram!" Mr. Wonka. Nobody could make head or tail of the shouting. They took it to be some kind of Martian language. But when the 8 mysterious astronauts suddenly rushed back into their glass capsule and broke away from the space hotel, you could almost hear the great sigh of relief that rose up from the people of the Earth. Telegrams and messages poured into the White House congratulating the president upon his brilliant handling of a frightening situation. The president himself remained calm and thoughtful. He sat at his desk rolling a small piece of wet chewing gum between his fingers and thumbs. He was waiting for the moment when he could flick at Miss Tibbs somehow without her seeing him. He flicked it and missed Miss Tibbs, but hit the Chief of the Air Force on the tip of his nose. "Do you think the men from Mars have accepted my invitation to the White House?" the president said. "Of course they have," said the Foreign Secretary. "It was a brilliant speech, sir." "They're probably on their way down here right now," said Miss Tibbs. "Go and wash that nasty, sticky chewing gum off your fingers quickly. They could be here at any minute." "Let's have a song first," said the president. "Sing another one about me, Nanny, please." There they are. There's Nanny, about to have a good old sing-song. There's Mr. President. And there's the cat. Who can remember what the cat's name is? Oh, said it a couple of times now. The Nurse's Song. "This mighty man of who I sing, the greatest of them all, was once a teeny little thing, just 18 inches tall. I knew him as a tiny tot. I nursed him on my knee. I used to sit him on the pot and wait for him to wee. It always washed between his toes, or rather I always washed between his toes and cut his little nails. I brushed his hair and wiped his nose and weighed him on the scales. Through happy childhood days he strayed, as all nice children should. I smacked him when he disobeyed and stopped when he was good. It soon began to dawn on me he wasn't very bright, because when he was 23 he couldn't read or write. What shall I do? His parents sobbed. The boy has got the vapors. He couldn't even get a job delivering the papers. Aha, I said, this little clot could be a politician. Nanny, he cried, oh Nanny, what a super proposition. Okay, I said, let's learn and read the art of politics. Let's teach you how to miss the boat, and how to drop some bricks, and how to win the people's vote, and lots of other tricks. Let's learn to make a speech a day upon the TV screen, in which you never say exactly what you mean. Politicians don't, do they? And most important, by the way, is not to let your teeth decay and keep your fingers clean. And now that I am 89, it's too late to repent. The fault was mine, the little swine became the president. Bravo, Nanny, cried the president, clapping his hands. Hooray, shouted the others. Well done, Miss Vice President, ma'am. Brilliant, tremendous. My goodness, said the president. Those men from Mars will be here at any minute. What on earth are we going to give them for lunch? Where's my chief cook? The chief cook was a Frenchman. He was also a French spy, and at this moment he was listening at the keyhole of the president's study. Ici, Monsieur le Président, he said, bursting in. Chief Cook, said the president, what do men from Mars eat for lunch? Mazbaz, said the chief cook. Baked or boiled? Asked the president. Oh, baked, of course, Monsieur le Président. You will ruin a mazbah by boiling. The voice of astronaut Shuckworth cut in over the loudspeaker in the president's study. Request permission to link up and go aboard Space Hotel, he said. Permission granted, said the president. Go right ahead, Shuckworth. It's all clear now, thanks to me. And so, the large transport capsule, piloted by Shuckworth, Shanks and Showler, oh no, with all the hotel managers and assistant managers and hall porters and pastry chefs and bellboys and waitresses and chambermaids on board, moved in smoothly and linked up with the giant space hotel. Hey there, we've lost our television picture, called the president. I'm afraid the camera got smashed against the side of the space hotel, Mr. President, Shuckworth replied. The president said a very rude word into the microphone, and 10 million children across the nation began repeating it gleefully and got smacked by their parents. Lucky we don't have that these days, hey, smacking. All astronauts and 150 hotel staff safely aboard Space Hotel, Shuckworth reported over the radio. We are now standing in the lobby. And what do you think of it all? Asked the president. He knew the whole world was listening in, and he wanted Shuckworth to say how wonderful it was. Shuckworth didn't let him down. Gee, Mr. President, it's just great, he said. It's unbelievable. It's enormous. And so it's kind of hard to find the words to describe it. It's so truly grand, especially the chandeliers and the carpets and all. I have the chief hotel manager, Mr. Walter W. Wall, beside me now. He would like the honor of a word with you, Mr. President, sir. Put him on, said the president. Mr. President, sir, this is Walter Wall. What a stupendous hotel this is. The decorations are superb. Have you noticed that all the carpets are Walter Wall, Mr. Walter Wall? Said the president. I have indeed, Mr. President. All the wallpaper is Walter Wall too, Mr. Walter Wall. Yes, sir, Mr. President. Isn't that something? It's got to be a real pleasure running a beautiful hotel like this. Hey, what's going on over there? Something's coming out of the lifts. Oh, help! Suddenly, the loudspeaker in the president's study gave out a series of the most ghastly screams and yells. Help! What on earth's going on? Said the president. Shuckworth? Are you there, Shuckworth? Shanks! Mr. Walter Wall! Where are you all? What's happening? He's putting his fingers in his ears. All the noise and screams. Oh no! What's happening to them? We know the Vermicious Knits are up there. Can't be good. The screams continued. They were so loud the president had to put his fingers in his ears. Every house in the world that had a television or radio receiver heard those awful screams. There were other noises too. Loud grunts and snortings and crunching sounds. Then there was silence. Uh-oh. Frantically, the president called the Space Hotel on the radio. Houston called the Space Hotel. The president called Houston. Houston called the president. Then both of them called the Space Hotel again. But answer there came none. Up there in space, all was silent. Something nasty's happened, said the president. It's those men from Mars, said the ex-chief of the army. I told you to let me blow them up. Silence, snapped the president. I've got to think. The loudspeaker began to crackle. Hello, it said. Hello. Are you receiving me? Space Control in Houston. The president grabbed the mic on his desk. Leave this to me, Houston, he shouted. President Gilligrass here, receiving you loud and clear. Go ahead. Astronaut Shuckworth here, Mr. President. Back aboard the transport capsule. Thank heavens. What happened, Shuckworth? Who's with you? Well, most of us here, Mr. President. I'm glad to say. Shanks and Showler are here with me and a whole bunch of other folks. I guess we lost maybe a couple of dozen people altogether. Pastry chefs, hall porters, that sort of thing. It sure was a scramble getting out of the place alive. What do you mean you lost 24 people? Shouted the president. How'd you lose them? Gobbled up, replied Shuckworth. One gulp and that was it. I saw a big 6-foot-tall assistant manager being swallowed up just like you swallow a lump of ice cream, Mr. President. No chewing, nothing. Just down the hatch. But who? Yelled the president. Who are you talking about? Who did the swallowing? Hold it! Cried Chuckworth. Oh, my lord. Here they all come now. They're coming after us. They're swarming out of the Space Hotel. They're swarming out in swarms. You'll have to excuse me a moment, Mr. President. No time to talk right now. Oh my goodness. I'm getting a little bit scared. Are you maybe hiding behind your cereal bowl or underneath your covers? Because I would be if I was you. This is getting a bit scary. Chapter 10, Transport Capsule in Trouble, Attack Number 1. We will read tomorrow. Goodness, how thrilling. I do love a bit of Roald Dahl. And I hope you have a lovely day. See you later. Bye.